we go.
Fires Lifestyle Podcast, episode 111.
111.
We did a strip poker run yesterday. Or Sunday.
Seems
Saturday.
like yesterday.
It happened the other day. It was a lot of people. There was over 80 bikes on that ride. And I don't know how many people have ridden with 80 bikes in a group before. But it's a pain in the ass to block for 80 bikes. Because it don't matter. It don't matter how, because first of all, most people are intimidated when riding in a group, so they always want to give as much room as possible in case, because of the slingshot effect, and you'll be blocking an intersection, and it seems like there will be a 4 to 5 second gap before the next group of bikes goes through, and you're like, are they done yet? Nope. Okay, yeah. We still got more to go. Okay, yep, nope, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
But it's fun. It's a good time.
I like the blocking. I do because, we're in the group, but then we sort of get to ride, at our own.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You get to ride ahead of everybody, and you get to zoom past everybody and look like a rock star.
We're sort of, blasting around and stuff, I thought we did a pretty good job.
Oh, yeah. It was a good time.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting towards the end there. We had 3 guys that just did not want to keep with the pack. And so we're looking for our patch, our blocker, to go by so we can jump in. And then, we're waiting for them. And then suddenly those 3 guys go by. And then there's the chase car behind that. We're like, oh, shit.
Nope, I guess that was it.
Guess that was it,
But yeah, that's just the fun shit you get to do.
Yeah, and we made it through a couple of those intersections where you're literally taking your life into your own hands.
Yep.
Kind of flagging them down. Oh, please stop. Please
stop.
Yeah,
please stop. Please go from 75 to 0 immediately. Yeah. That'd be great.
And, the other nice thing, too, is we dodged the weather.
We did dodge the weather. There was some nasty-ass thunderstorms looming literally a county above us for half the ride. But you know what? We got 4, maybe 5 drops of rain, and then at the last stop, it rained while we were there, and then it was gone when we got out. I mean, you got some road spray on your boots, but other than that, you're fine.
Yeah, but it kept all that humidity in the air, didn't it?
Sure did keep it really humid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was so sweaty.
Yeah, it was, but it was cold.
Yep.
If you were, when you were on the bike, but then you'd sit there, man, and it'd be warm.
Oh, yeah.
Hot as hell. It was a good day. I mean, overall, we only had the one guy go down with the.
Yeah, he fell over. He didn't crash. He just fell over. Look, always check your footing before you put your foot down. Make sure that there's ground underneath your foot, and you're not sitting on the side of the road on the ditch side, and you go to put your foot down, and there's no ground. And then they were plus-sized people, let's put it that way. Hilarious to watch them tumble down the side of the ditch there. I mean, obviously everybody's fine. Everybody's fine. I mean, they were stopped. But it was funny. It was funny to watch, and we helped him get his bike up, and it was entertaining at best to see that. And it was a victory owner, so that's always extra special for me to watch one of those guys just go bloop, because victory guys like to talk a lot of shit, the Harley guys. So
yeah, I'm a victory guy, and I don't talk a lot of shit.
Yeah, but you also own a Harley.
Oh, that's very true.
It's true. I mean, victory guys.
Yeah,
real victory guys.
They're actually pretty funny. Pretty weird, quirky group.
They are.
But getting back to that rider, here's the deal. Like, if you're going to go on a long ride that's a poker run and you're going to go from bar to bar, don't be an asshole and go to that very first bar and drink your fucking ass off. Like, don't have a lot of pregame. Get onto the bike, relatively sober, please, because those people were not. They drank a lot at our opening stop.
Well, yeah. I mean. Well, what also doesn't help is the ride starts so late in the day.
That's very true.
The ride starts, registration's at 1, ride, kicks off at 2. So, yeah, chances are they got up, did breakfast, and started fucking around before they came out, and they were probably, 2 to 3 hours into drinking before they even showed up to register.
Yeah.
And then, everybody thinks they're a rock star when they're not. And
then shots get poured, and hey, good to see you.
Oh yeah, now we're doing shots. And
well, I could tell when he came up to the registration table, I could see he was a little bit in his cups at that point in time. And we haven't signed a disclaimer, right? It's got the little disclaimer at the top, and he didn't want to read all that. He just kind of looked at it and he said, "What does all that mean?" I said, it means if you fuck up, it's not on the club. That's what it
Yeah.
means. Oh, okay. So, but it was nice he got that out of the way for us, so we didn't, everything else went off without a hitch, really.
Yeah, everything else was fine. It was that, and the first bar. I mean, I got there ahead of time so I could,
Take the video.
take some video, and
Yep.
make sure everybody was ready. The bartender was not happy we were going to show up because apparently, she didn't own the place, so she didn't want to have to serve over 100 and some odd fucking dudes and
We're gonna tip
gals,
her.
and we're going to tip her. She's going to make a bunch of money, but I mean, it did break up her smoke break, so that sucked for her.
Yeah. Oh, of course, we gave her no prior warning,
No, we gave her no prior warning the past 2 weeks beforehand.
with posters up in the place.
Posters and stopping in and letting her know, and the fact I was there early by about 15 minutes and all that other shit. She had no warning, really.
None whatsoever.
None whatsoever.
No.
But, other than that, I mean, normally when we show up, I mean, the strippers love us.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you got to think about it. I mean, on a Saturday afternoon, there's not going to be 150 people that just come flying in all at once, already half in the bag, already just ready to throw money at chicks.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, the second stop, we made a bachelor party feel very insecure about themselves, and they left.
They did.
They did not want to be around us.
Well, that one
These
guy
guys.
had on a $50 shirt, didn't he, huh?
He had on some, Banana Republic. These guys were not bikers.
No,
you understand?
no.
They were bebopping around in the SUV, and you could tell it was like a golf outing that was like, hey, let's stop at the titty bar. And sorry we fucked up your day.
Hey, shout out to the Show Palace
Shout out to the Show Palace.
because they actually had some talent for us this year.
Yeah, normally it's called the Cow Palace,
That's
but
right.
the Show Palace, they showed up. Show Palace showed up, so shout out to the Show Palace. Shout out to the Vegas Club as always.
As always. Yep.
As always got the A-team there for us.
Kaya, thank you.
Yep, yeah, Kaya, she always takes care of us, And also shout out to the Sugar Shack.
Yeah.
For putting up with old ladies because they have male dancers upstairs and female dancers downstairs. And it was confirmed by the bouncers that the females who watch the male dancers are more unruly than the dudes that are watching the ladies. There's we've always had problems, and it's always from upstairs. It's always these chicks. They get out of control. They can't control themselves. It turns into a whole thing. So, shout out to the male dancers for putting up with all the crazy old ladies that were partaking in the evening.
Well, that's been something actually for a while. When out east, God, years ago when I was in my 20s, I was a chef for a hotel, and they did like every Thursday night was mail. They had a mail review come in, and I did security for it. And if it started at 8:00 at night, them little old ladies would show up to get their tables at like 3 hours beforehand. They'd be in the bar with like little sack lunches and shit. Very, very unruly. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
A couple of the dancers got fired because they were nailing some of the women out in the parking lot, and
well, that's on them.
well, I guess
That's
it's,
on them.
Evidently, that's a bugaboo.
Yeah, you can't do that, I suppose.
But I bet they probably make really good money on the side,
I would imagine. It's got to be a good hustle, But I would be remiss not to mention that Mike Grizz from Travelers MC, I don't know if we interviewed him. I don't know what
We
podcast
did.
that
Oh,
was.
God.
Look back in the archives. I don't fucking remember. A lot of his dudes came up for the ride, all the way from Ohio, Toledo, Ohio, to Janesville, Wisconsin, to go see boobs. And I'll tell you what, Friday night when they showed up, they came to the clubhouse, and they were very,
those boys had fun.
they had a good time.
They did have a
They had
good
a real,
time.
man, they were just,
Hooting and hollering and,
got a lot of
buying
drinks.
shots.
Oh my God. It was a fun night.
It was a fun night,
And then, the fucking guys, what was it, Freedom Riders?
Freedom Riders or Freedom Legion, something like that, from Indiana.
Yeah, from Indiana. They came all the way up from Indiana, and then one of our club brothers hosted them in his front yard in his camper because they didn't have a place to stay. So
That's right.
if you're from Indiana and you need a place to stay, we might know a guy with a camper in his front yard.
But apparently 2/3 of them aren't very good at gauging their gas in their motorcycles.
They did run out of gas. They did run out of gas.
Yeah.
You know what that happens. Once
It does.
Once you start getting a few in you, and somebody breaks out the devil's lettuce, you forget, hey, I need gasoline in my motorcycle.
Apparently.
It doesn't run on hopes and dreams. It runs on gasoline.
It does not run on hopes and dreams, but
yeah.
we can breathe a sigh of relief now, man.
Oh, yeah, no, that ride's over, you know.
I mean, you don't just throw them together and kind of hope for the best. I mean, how many times are we, out there riding? I mean, we knew the route pretty good anyway.
Right. Well, it's relatively the same route we always take. But, I mean, it's just, we had to, they graveled a whole fucking county road.
Yeah.
And it was like one of the main roads we take to get us, like, in the area. And it was pea gravel the entire fucking way.
Yeah, let's enlighten some of the people as to what that is. What they do around here is they take tar.
Yep.
And they put the tar down on this thick shit, and then they go with like a half-inch of pea gravel.
Yeah, and then the tar or the pea gravel goes into the fucking tar, and it turns it into a road, and the excess just disappears, supposedly.
Well, it builds up into
corners.
Ruts first, and then corners in the center, and it takes several weeks for it to work its way out.
No, it could take up to a month,
and
depending upon how they do it.
We'll be riding along sometimes, and all of a sudden it's like, fuck.
Yep.
And it's not like they give you much. It's like they put the loose gravel sign like at the start of the loose gravel.
Nope. It's like, hey, what's that sign say? Loose gravel. And then next thing you know, you're
in it.
You're all wobbly because you're in loose gravel and you were doing 60 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So surprise.
Yeah.
Thanks, Wisconsin.
Thank you, Wisconsin. And there's no rhyme or reason to it. I mean, we did the Fallen Brother ride earlier.
Yep.
And we rode the route the week before. Nothing. You guys go out. I wasn't on that ride.
Friday night.
Before. The Friday night, and boom, suddenly pea gravel.
Yep, whole section of road. And it was one of those deals where we had to reorganize the shit almost a quarter of the ride because that particular road, they pea gravel, was the road that got us to the destination.
Yeah.
And the other road was like way the hell back there. It turned into a whole thing where we had to like redo the first half of the ride because they put pea gravel down in this one stretch of road for about 2.5, 3 miles. And I mean, us guys, we can ride through that and we'll be fine, but
the civilians, the citizens.
Listen, some of you people, and I hate this, here we go. I'm about to bash somebody.
Go ahead.
The retirees, I always wanted me a Harley motorcycle. I want to get me a Harley motorcycle. What do they go? They go out and they get the biggest fucking Harley they can.
Yep.
They get the Ultra Classic. They might not have ridden a bike in 40 fucking years. The last bike they rode was a Honda CB350 or whatever, right?
Yeah.
They rode some fucking bike.
440 Limited Kawasaki.
Yeah. Some Ironhead Sportster back when they were in high school in the 70s or whatever shit. Didn't have a bike. Get a bike after retirement and figure, well, it's like riding a bike. How can you forget? It takes a lot. And you'll get some of these guys, and then they'll see the fucking pea gravel. Well, they'll panic, and they'll grab a whole bunch of front brake. And even if you got ABS, that's bad news bears.
Brakes are bad in that period.
Yeah, I mean, you would want to drag your rear brake because, it's a lot easier to control a bike when the front steering wheel is not the one that's locked up and doing whatever it wants to do.
Well, I mean, the first thing you do is you pull the clutch in.
Yeah, or decelerate.
Or one of the two.
Yeah.
But I mean, getting back to these guys that buy these bikes, I mean, plus then they'll say, well, I've ridden all these years. It's like, well, how many miles did you ride last year? Well, 1,500.
Yep.
It's like, fucker, I did that last week.
Well, yeah.
I mean, so it's not how many years you've ridden. It's the miles you've ridden and the muscle memory you've built up.
We don't know who we're talking about. We're talking about the yuppies and the old guys that,
my generation and above, yeah.
Well, even some of the younger guys are like that, I mean, I know guys that are younger than me that bought a motorcycle in their 20s, met a girl, got married, had kids, still got the bike, never ride it. I took the bike out, last month. I put a couple 100 miles on it last month.
Yeah.
That's it? Okay. Well, you might not be proficient to ride in a pack of 60 motorcycles, and all of a sudden, gravel.
Yeah.
And everybody's starting to slow down in a certain way, and you panicky, and fucking you grab a bunch of front brake, and next thing you know, your ass over tea kettle, and everybody behind you's fucking running you over.
Well, and they think that with their tires, it's like they'll get 2-3 years out of a set of tires on there, and
well, yeah.
But rubber deteriorates.
Rubber
cracks in it.
It gets hard too.
It does.
Newer motorcycle tires are soft. You ever touch like a newer motorcycle tire, they're kind of gooey. Not gooey, but that might be the wrong.
Tacky.
They're just soft. They're soft.
Yeah.
Kind of like squeezing bubble gum. Well, over time they start getting hard,
Yep.
and they don't grip the road like they used to, and things get wiggly. I don't know how it is everywhere else in the country or in the world, because worldwide now apparently. They get cracks in the road, and they'll put tar down.
Tar snakes.
Tar snakes, road snakes, whatever you want to call them. And if that's in a corner and you're going through it, the bike gets a little wiggly. Freaks a lot of people out.
Yeah.
Freaks me out sometimes.
On a hot day, it gets kind of
yeah.
real slick.
And like yesterday, it was, upper 80s, low 90s for the first half of that ride. I mean,
Yeah.
all the tar snakes, all the road snakes, they're gooey as shit. So even if you're going relatively the speed limit or even, under, you're still going to feel that bike wiggle around in the corner. Some people freak out and they slow way the fuck down. And if the guy behind you is not paying attention or expecting you to want to make a sudden stop in a 35-mile-an-hour corner, he could rear end you. And then he could send you into the ditch, or he could send you into the guy next to you, whatever. It's just, the inexperienced riders that come on our rides, that's who we're always looking out for. That's why we go slow. That's why we have blockers. That's why we do what we do. We don't ride saying, okay, well, we can fucking hold it down. We can fucking go fast as fuck. But we'll just expect everybody else to keep up with us. No, we ride to
Their level.
Yeah. You try to ride to the rider with the least amount of experience, but even that's kind of hard because some of them there's just no helping them. You just pray to God they don't fucking hurt themselves or somebody.
Yeah.
But
either way, I mean, for the most part, we pulled it off. I mean, and this is what happens too: is you get those groups that'll come onto the ride,
yeah,
and like the ride from where you leave to that first stop, it's everybody.
Yeah.
But then you get to that first stop, and then you'll get those groups going. Where are we going next? Oh, we're going here. Okay, we'll see you over there. Because they break off, the experienced riders, because they just don't want to deal with it. They're stuck in the middle of the pack. They're dealing with those assholes that are doing the slingshot yo-yo effect thing.
Yep. And that's fine.
But it just, for an experienced rider, it's a pain in the ass.
Well, I'm saying, like, it's fine if you don't feel comfortable riding in the group and you're just like, hey, I'll meet you guys there. It's like, great, cool,
Yeah, my son-in-law was on the ride. He had a friend of his who hadn't ridden in a long time, so he's on his bought a used bike, and he's on the bike. And he freaked out in the middle of the pack, and then he and my son-in-law started riding ahead of us or behind us, in the pack. But that's great. I just want people to be safe.
But there is one other bit of news we have about the ride. We met a local celebrity.
We did.
We were unfortunate enough to have Danny Delos show up to the ride.
Yeah, he did at the Sugar Shack.
Danny Delos showed up to the ride, hung out, did his thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, shout out to Danny Delos for stopping by.
Shout out to Danny Delos. Thanks,
Unfortunately, his night ended early because he was asked to leave.
He was trying to make some content.
He made some content, and you can't do that at the titty bar. You can't whip your phone out and make a video.
That's a
They get bummed
bugaboo.
about it.
They
So, just realize that he's doing it for you guys out there in the internets. He's out there risking getting kicked out of places to show you assholes a good time on the internet. So
yeah.
I mean, sacrifices were made. That's all I'm saying. He sacrificed his evening to make content, and I'm sure people enjoy it.
Yeah, we were sitting up at the table, and you looked over and you're like, "That's Danny Delos down there."
Danny Delos.
And he heard about us from the strippers actually at that bar. I said, "How'd you hear about this? You see a poster?" And he said, "No." He said the strippers. He knows a few of the girls at the bar and at the Sugar Shack. And they said, "Oh, we got a big ride coming in." And he said, "Well, it's a club." And what's the club? And she's like, "I don't know, something chains." And he's like, "I know those guys." So, shout out to Danny for coming in, man. Little hospitality in the old Como area there.
Yeah. I mean, that's small world.
Yeah.
Busting balls here about him getting escorted out by security for videotape. But
I don't know if he was escorted, but I know
asked to leave.
Yeah.
However you want to say. They usually escort because that place. See, the Sugar Shack is kind of a weird fucking titty bar because it's like upscale. But I mean,
they wear tuxedos, man.
They wear tuxedos. They got assigned seating.
Yeah.
I mean, we violate all the rules when we go there. Because,
we do, yes.
fuck them. But normally, it's very upper class, or so they try to be.
Upscale, yeah.
Upscale. Which is not what we're used to, because the rest of them is just a free-for-all, and it's just whatever. But, yeah, so, hey,
I don't know. Do you feel sorry for, like, just a little bit sorry for the stripper that'll get up on the stage and then nobody comes around her?
Always. I always feel somewhat bad.
I do feel a little bad,
It's like, man, they don't even want to give you $1. They saw you and they were like, I'll save it. I'll save it for the next girl. Next girl's probably going to be, because you don't know who's coming up.
Yeah.
You're just like,
Yeah, the one, she had some long tits.
Okay, well, first of all, here's the thing. And this is going to sound bad, and I don't care. There has to be, okay, first of all, we have to premise, if you've never been to a strip club, most strippers are in their 20s, some early 30s, but mostly they're in their 20s. Now, don't get me wrong. There are women that can have, a fantastic figure all the way into their 40s. Here's the thing. Unless you have extensive work done, sometime between the age of 45, you should probably hang up the clear heels, because gravity has taken over at that point, and you're not as young as you used to be.
No, no.
And, I feel bad. I feel bad, but... I
did, yeah.
She
was on the stage when we got there.
I'm going to tell you this right now. I feel bad for her, yet she's brave, and whatever, blah, blah, blah. But, man, if I was a manager at a place, I'd say, look, Linda, it's time. Yeah, it's time you retire.
Time.
The world needs plenty of Uber drivers and Lyft drivers and bartenders and waitresses. So maybe look in that career field, because the exotic dancing isn't for you.
The nice thing about Sugar Shack is that they make sure all of their tables are very secure.
Yep.
So they can dance right there on the table for you.
Yep.
Which is cool.
Yep.
But 2 years in a row now, I've had a stripper come up, and of course they're just working the room. They want to make money.
Yeah.
And she says, "Hey, I'll dance on the table and get naked for you right here. And it's right now we're having a half price sale. They have a 50% off sale." And so I said, I declined. I said, but the boys from Indiana were at the table down on the tier below us, and I said, but hey, those guys down there, they probably enjoy the heck out of that. So she swung her legs over the stage and over the bar, the bar rail they had there, and stood on the table and asked them, and they paid the money to get her naked, and she was right there, and 2 years in a row, got to see it for free.
They look the same at the bar as they do at the rail, so I usually sit at the bar. That's safer that way, too. You're not going to get any glitter on you and have to explain that later.
Well, it's almost like audience seating at Sugar Shack, which is kind of cool.
Which is kind of cool.
Stadium seating, that's what I mean.
The stadium seating, which is, preferable, to be honest with you.
Yeah, we're up on the second tier. We get to look down, That was kind of nice.
Nice.
The Deb, one of the old ladies in the club, she asked the bouncers, she said, hey, I want to make my dollar bill into an airplane, and I want to throw it up on stage. And they said, okay, you can do it one time. Now, her goal was, there was a girl that kept on, she was doing yoga or something. She's doing headstands and then with her legs apart, and so she was going to try to get in the crack of her ass.
Did you get it in there?
She did not. She did not make a very good aerodynamic plane.
Well, you got a year to practice. So.
But we were in Show Palace.
Yeah.
And we're over by the shower there, and another motorcycle club, the president of that club, I was sitting next to him, and a girl, she came up out of the shower, and she's like, go ahead, you can stick it right in my thong. She said, so God bless him. Yeah, he stuck it in there. She had a hard time getting it out. I think he went up to the first knuckle. Got one by the bouncers there, but the Show Palace has lower standards.
Show Palace don't give a fuck.
No.
It's a Vegas club, really. As long as the girls don't get pissed off, you usually can get away with fucking murder.
But at least the Vegas club, I can walk in from the sun and I can see what's going on in the club. Man, you come in out of the sunny day into the Show Palace, you can't see shit. You're just hoping you don't walk into something that's so dark in there.
It's so dark. But yeah, but that's also why we quit going to the Blue Oyster.
Oh yeah,
It's super dark in there. Anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Ooh. Anyway.
Let's not talk about that.
Hey, man. It is what it is.
It is.
And they won't allow colors in there. You
not
can't
anymore.
Wear,
no,
yeah,
not
you
anymore.
can't wear colors into the with Blue Aster. Is that the real name of it? We call it the Blue Oyster Club. Shout out to the Police Academy.
Didn't Reverend Jim sell it? He's not the owner there anymore, I don't think.
No, he sold that, and I think he died.
Real? Oh, well,
I
mean, the last time we saw him, he had, they took his leg off.
Yeah, well, diabetes is a thing. But, yeah, I don't know. He's either, well, he might not be dead, but he definitely doesn't own it anymore. And it's like some corporation bought it.
Well, he had several strip clubs. He had one that was in Janesville.
Yeah, Screaming Mimi's.
Yeah.
It was a juice bar, 18 and over.
Yeah, he got in a little trouble for a little side action business in there, though. That made
well, they were soliciting.
Yeah, they were soliciting,
Oldest professional.
and they were doing a brisk business.
Yes.
A girl that worked for me when I ran a place down in Rockford actually left there and went there and got caught up in that.
Whoops.
Yeah, well, she had the body to get away with it, but I'm sure jail was fun for her. But yeah, that's Reverend Jim.
Yeah. Well, I don't think the thing is Jim.
Well, they called him Reverend Jim. He was big friends with Jesse James Dupree from...
oh, yeah?
Yep. From Jackal.
Yeah.
And then it was Jim Stone was a local celebrity in Rockford on the X, the radio station. So they did.
I didn't know that.
Actually, Jackal did a...
Because I always thought they just called him Diamond Jim.
No, it was Reverend Jim. I can't remember how he's not an actual reverend, but I can't remember how he got the name. But they actually shot a portion of a Jackal video at that strip club.
Well, we learned something new today.
Learn something new every day.
I think this is a good place to sort of wind it down because I got to go to work.
You do, yeah.
So,
you're starting anew.
What are you going to do?
Starting fresh.
So, yeah, we have about a half an hour.
It's close enough, man.
Close enough.
I'm tired, too, man. It was a lot leading up to it. We had a lot going on. But, and you did remodeling in the middle of it.
I did.
Yeah. Yeah, we should maybe
counter.
take a picture of it and put it in there just to show. I mean, it's looking
cares.
pretty nice. So we're going to actually be able to do some... we have a whole lot more room for cooking activities now in the clubhouse.
Yay.
Which is good. We need that.
We needed that.
We definitely needed that. 'Cause apparently we cooked lately, so...
What else are you going to do? People need to eat. So, yeah, that's it for this week.
So, yeah, episode 111. Hey, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, whatever the fuck you do. Shout out to the guys that came in from Ohio. Yep. Shout out to the guys that came in from Indiana.
Shout out to the motherfuckers that just showed up anyways and show up to all our shit.
That's right. Thank you very much. We raised some money for a good cause. And,
fucking shout out to the fucking table in Afton, Wisconsin. Shout out to the Boar's Nest in Ellens Grove, Wisconsin. Shout out to the Show Palace in Darien, Wisconsin. Shout out to the Vegas Club in Darien, Wisconsin. Shout out to Farmers in Darien, Wisconsin.
Joe. We love you, Joe.
Farmer Joe, man. Yeah. That guy, he's we did burnouts in the middle of the street. I did a burnout in the middle of the street. Another guy tried to do a walking burnout and almost ate all the shit on planet Earth. Yeah, his name was Asshole.
His name was, apparently, he put it on its back.
No, he showed his ass. Anyways, and yeah. And
shout out to Sugar Shack.
And once again to Sugar Shack. So
all in all, it was a good run. Nobody died,
Nobody died.
I mean, no accidents. We didn't have a massive rainstorm. I mean, maybe we've actually turned the corner and we've lifted the curse.
Well, I ain't saying that.
Well, last year, I mean, we had.
I understand what the fuck you're saying, but
yeah, we had Club Brother got into an accident the day before it, and then he died 2 days after.
Yeah, so maybe now that we say that, maybe we turned the corner, something bad will happen next year.
We've exorcised the demons. We've exorcised the demons.
Mm-hmm.
We have. You're skeptical,
Yeah, I am.
That's the beauty of us.
I'm jaded.
Your glass is way half empty, and mine's sort of half full. But
it is what it is.
That's what makes us.
Yep.
That's, I guess, apparently that's why people tune into this shit for whatever reason.
Boredom, I guess.
I don't know, man.
Not enough shit on the internet.
No, there's plenty of shit on the internet, but apparently they like us because we're real.
Ooh. Cool.
So, either way, hey man, ride fast, take chances. Thanks for watching, listening, whatever the fuck you're doing.
Yep.
I see a rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's hella bad. After her there ain't no coming back. Wanna take a run at that. I think she's feeling me, turn it up a few degrees. My imagination of her body gets the best of me. Oh gosh, she's such a tease, bitten lips, bruised knees. I'm addicted to her, need her touching me, cause she got a bad little waist. And we tearing down this place, off the liquor that we chase. Casamigos to the face, baby I don't need no space. Coming closer for a taste, and I'll show you how I make everything just fade away. Cause she's like sex, drugs, cocaine, body so insane. Jealous of the clothing that she wears up